going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new tactic, and today it's going to be Buruk's 4-2-3-1. We've done it on the last FM and you guys absolutely loved it. I love Turkish football. I absolutely love it. And today we've got a treat because we absolutely cooked with Galatasaray. If you do enjoy the videos, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, if you, that is right, you like rebuilds, come on over and check out the second channel in the description below where we are going to be posting a Galatasaray rebuild. But let's go over and see how we done with the mighty Gala. So of course, the first test we done was with Galatasaray and we enjoyed a remarkable time. We really did, winning the Turkish Super Cup, which was actually quite close against Besiktas, but beating them 2-1. Runners up in the Turkish Cup, unfortunately, Fenerbahce a little bit too strong. Now the Champions League, that might have not went too well, but we do bounce back and win the Europa League against Arsenal. So proven we can go against some of the best teams in the world, but this is where we really come into our own. Nearly, well actually an invincible season, but nearly a perfect 38 out of 38, 37 wins, 1 draw there against a team which, to be honest, we should be beating every day of the week, so a little bit disappointing, but overall we can't be too annoyed. All of our players absolutely cooked in the league, a ridiculous performance from everyone involved, and as you can see, this is where we really did thrive. The goal scoring side, there was no competition. The shots for side, no competition. We were incredibly good defensively as well. Don't get me wrong, possession-wise, maybe you could have asked me to extract a little bit more of the ball, but I will say when you're scoring this amount of goals and you're that good defensively, a couple of percent of possession, I wouldn't really worry about too much. Now, the data hub is going to look incredible. 4.37 goals per game, 0.32 conceded, over 25 shots, a decent pass completion. The tackle win ratio is pretty average, I would say. Nothing too special there. But overall, a very good tactic, and I would like to say this was all done with the default version of the tactic, but as always, I've got an attacking tactic and a defensive tactic, all for you to use at your disposal. So let's go over now and see what we've done with the attacking tactic, where we are going to go and jump with Lugano. Lugano are a team, obviously, in the Swiss league that are predicted around about 3rd or 4th place, but I like playing attacking football over there, so I thought we'll use the attacking variant, and you know what? It actually worked quite well, to be fair. We won the Swiss Cup 3-0 against Servette, which is a decent win there, and the actual Swiss Super League, we done very well in. We did lose a game here, so not an invincible season, all that being with a decent team. Still a very strong display. Defensively incredible, loads of players coming in with assists and also goals, and the stats are very similar. Outscoring everyone, ripping more shots than anyone, nearly double there of Young Boys, who of course are one of the best teams in the league. The most dribbles, the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. Now on this occasion, the most clean sheets, obviously the defensive record wasn't as impressive as a Galatasaray because we are a lot more attacking, so that is that to be explained nice and simple. Possession wise, we are still going to be in around about 4th place, and I would say with the attacking version, you're going to sacrifice around 3 to 4% compared to what you would do consistently with a top team using the default one. But if you do like a slightly more direct way of playing football, this definitely is the tactic for you. And I mean, the data hub again, 3.55 goals per game, 0.74 conceded, over 21 shots, and 88 pass completion. And funny enough, the tackle win ratio has gone up despite it being more aggressive to 82.02, which just goes to show very dependent on what leagues you guys are playing in, because some leagues are a lot less sort of a higher tempo league, a lot less challenges being put in, and that really does prove it. An 82% tackle win ratio. It's absolutely incredible. Then I took the underdog tactic / defensive tactic over to the Spanish First Division, and the cups, well, they were okay. The Champions League, maybe not. The Spanish Cup, getting to the semi-finals with Girona, I will take, but the league, we are going to win. And what I will say here is, yes, we did draw some games, we lost some games, we are Girona, but at the end of the day, we did go up and beat some of these big boys directly. And what I will say is, in terms of the stats as well, we didn't even score the most goals with this one. It's a lot more sort of control focused, and we actually were quite controlling, even with a team like Girona, who obviously are behind Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad, them sort of teams. We had a lot of shots, fewest conceded, so we are still having some of them same stat lines, but obviously on a bit less of a bold scale, because we are a weaker team. It's a tougher league as well, but we're maintaining the under a goal conceded, over 2 goals a game, over 18 shots, a very good pass completion. The tackle win ratio has gone down again a little bit, to be honest, but overall overall a very, very good set of stats, not only with Girona, with Lugano, but also Big King Gala. Let's go and watch some highlights. We're going to treat ourselves to this game because it's an 11-0 win, so we can really see a load of goals. And this man, Zaha, I know he's not having a great time in real life. He's incredible in this game, and the build-up play was absolutely sublime with Icardi going through, making it 2 inside of 3 minutes, and actually we're now going to make it 3 inside of 15. A great ball from Zaha, and the confidence in this Buruk system is absolutely incredible. Again, if you are a Turkish viewer, I absolutely love you. Be sure to drop a like on the video because I'm a big fan of Turkish football. Despite being from Britain, I'm a big fan of it, as Bowie is going to put a ball in the box into Icardi. Absolutely incredible play. Set pieces galore as well. Again, I keep saying it, you've got to go and get those because they absolutely cook this year. With Mertens playing through to Icardi again, and you're seeing how quick these goals are coming. But if you're actually watching how they're being created, it's actually made to look so simple. 2 penalties back to back. What is that going on? As Sergio just gets 2 penalties and an assist in about 10 minutes, with 1 more goal coming in to make it 11, and at this point, I don't even know why they bothered. But now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video, that is going to be the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying so far, a like would mean the absolute world, and definitely consider subscribing because we've got tons of content coming for the rest of this FM, but also the next FM. We are going to be relentless, posting almost daily for your enjoyment, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and whack on that bell. But to make this tactic, you simply want to load in a create your own style and select that 4-2-3-1 DM AM wide. Mentality, well, that is going to be set to positive, and we are now going to go and talk through some of these instructions. I do want to quickly say as well, despite the sweeper keeper being on defend, to get that one done and dusted, if you do want to get all of these wonderful perks on the screen right now, which does entitle you to simple downloads to all 3 of these tactics, you also get them on mobile and on console. You get them early. This video you're watching with adverts, you could watch without adverts as well, because that also now goes on there. You get my rebuild files, you get one-on-one tactical help, access to monthly giveaways, which last month's was £500, so some big giveaways. You can come on over and join the Patreon. It means the absolute world to anyone that does do that, because we're building a massive community, close to 5,000 people, and I'm able to give back a really good set of prizes, and we are going to have around about 10 copies of FM25 to give away, so do come on over if you enjoy the channel. Absolute love. But let's go over now and look at the wing back. So the wing back on the right hand side is going to be set to support, and he's going to have some instructions, so let's go through and discuss them. So he is going to be actually set to take more risks. We're also going to have him set to cross more often and also dribble more. So this individual on the right hand side is going to be a very, very attacking right back, and that is going to be Bowie. We saw it in the highlights how aggressive he was, how much he was pushing up. He was not scared at all to take a passing risk. He was dribbling with the ball, taking on players, and that's exactly what I want him to be doing. So it actually works really, really well. In the mid, we are going to go with 2 ball-playing defenders, and we're both going to share the same instruction. That is going to consist of them both having tackle harder. Again, in this system, I want both of the ball-playing defenders to not be afraid to put in a challenge, win the ball back with some aggression, and then we can sort of construct our own counter-attack. The left back is going to be another wing-back who is also going to be on support, and he is going to be a little bit different, but somewhat on the same sort of wavelength. So we are going to have him also set to cross more, dribble more, this time though, run wide, stay wider, and also tackle harder. So they are a little bit different. So for example, Bowie is going to be taking a lot more passing risks purely because his crossing is better. The left back is going to be a little bit more direct in terms of the approach. He's still going to be crossing a lot, but they are a little bit different. So make sure you've got that minor change definitely added to your tactic. Now the DM, we are going to go through it. The DM is going to be on the left, and we are going to have him simply set to support, and we are going to have some key instructions, those being dribble more and also tackle harder. One thing you're going to learn about this system very quickly is that we're not afraid to actually commit players going forward, which is why you're able to catch a lot of these teams off guard. Beat a team 11-0, for example, is absolutely relentless football that gets incredible results. And next to the DM, we are going to go with a default, so nothing added onto him, a ball-winning midfield player, simply on support, who of course, naturally is also going to be on tackle harder. Now, over to the wings, the real tasty bit of the team. We are going to go with an inside forward on the right-hand side, who is simply going to be set to support, with some instructions as well. That is going to be shoot more often, roam from the position. We're going to have him set to close down more. And what I will say is with this is how you do get this instruction. Close down more, just clean slate your entire tactical style, and then this option here will become available. I see it asked a lot in my videos, so I'm going to do a little live tutorial now so you can see how I actually get that instruction. Because on the left-hand side, we are also going to have an inside forward who is going to be set to support, and he is also going to be on close down more and simply just tackle harder. So not as many instructions, but still the vital close down more with the tackle harder. We're then going to go into the sort of AM. It's not going to be an AM. It's actually going to be a default shadow striker with no custom instructions, because by default we have 4 there anyway. And to finish it off, the cherry on top is going to be a default advanced forward. So nice and simple for the shadow striker and the advanced forward. Probably one of the more attacking 4-2-3-1s that I noticed actually have a nice chain of consistency behind it as well. But over to the team instructions, we are going to go with fairly wide. A little reminder, the clean slate on the positive mentality, fairly wide. We're going to overlap left and overlap right, focusing down the left and the right hand side. Using the wide areas in this tactic is absolutely vital. It worked really well. You saw how effective Zaha was. Make sure you are utilising him to his full ability. He might not be the best in real life, but in the game, he's an absolute machine. We are then going to be more expressive and run at defence. So again, we do not care. We are being very attacker minded and playing some electric counter-attacking football. The tempo is going to be maxed out with a shorter passing directness alongside of that. In transition, again, to back up the counter-attack, counter press, not regroup, counter press and counter. We're going to roll the ball out and simply distribute the ball quickly. And out of possession, we are going to deploy the high pressing line of engagement. We are going to go with the higher defensive line, not the much higher, just the higher. With get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and we are going to max out that beautiful trigger press. Now that was the tactic that we tested with Galatasaray with. Now to the attacking tactic, which is it's worth having, because if you're in a game with a default tactic, you can't get a goal. Switching to this will allow you to go and get that goal, or if you are playing as a real powerhouse or anyone with some real quality and you just want to say, Josh, let me attack, this is exactly what you want to be playing. So the goalkeeper does remain exactly the same. The ball players are going to be somewhat similar, but both now have dribble more and tackle harder. The wing back on the right is now going to be on support, but on take more risks, cross more, dribble more, run wide, stay wide, and also tackle harder. So again, very attacking. And the wing back on the left is going to be somewhat similar, but again, a little bit different on cross more, dribble more, run wide, stay wide, and also tackle harder. We are going to keep the ball winning midfield player simply on the default, because we actually introduce a box-to-box who will now push forwards, but also will come back. But when he's got the ball, he's going to get forwards, he's going to be dribbling more with it, but also out of possession, he is going to be tackling harder. A nice aggressive challenge. The inside forward on the right is now going to be set to attack, on shoot more, roam, and close down more. And on the left, the same thing, on attack, on close down, and tackle harder. The shadow striker remains unchanged, as does the advanced forward. For the team instructions, we are still going to maintain on that positive mentality, because a lot of changes are done in the player roles, but things are going to change a little bit. Now, I will be honest with you, in this tab, nothing really changes. So we're going to quickly click together and get this tab done, because I'm not here to waste your time today. We are simply going to max out everything and keep it exactly the same as what you would do. Now, where it does start to change, and it's a very minor change, is we are still going to have this selected, but we are actually now going to opt to take short goal kicks, whereas rolling the ball out eliminates going to the flanks and obviously the target forward area, this sort of area. I want them now to be an option, so we are going to deploy that and simply load that in. Out of possession as well, there is one real key change, or a couple really. The much higher line is now going to be deployed, while we're going to step up more, get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and the trigger press, that is going to be maxed out. So this tactic is going to be a lot more attacking, a higher line, but the player roles really are the change of the tactic. They make a big difference. And now what we're going to do is we are going to go over a tactic for those of you that are playing as maybe a real small team, a low league team, or if you simply want to run the clock down and try and seal a game out, you want to be using the Buruk 4-2-3-1 defensive. The beautiful thing about this game, and will be in next game as well, is you can simply click between these tactics and completely change the way you play. And it's absolutely vital you're doing it if you want to get some success. Now, the goalkeeper does remain the same. The ball players are both now simply both on tackle harder, obviously not dribbling more. The wing back on the right and on the left are both now simply on automatic. No, it's not a mistake. They are simply both on the default, no custom instructions. The DM on the left is now going to be on support, simply on tackle harder, and the ball winning midfield player, again, simply on the default. He remains unchanged in every tactic. The inside forward on the right and on the left are both now simply both going to be on support and close down more. The AM comes into the team on support, on pass it short, cross less, shoot less, roam, and move into the channels. Basically a man to roam about, getting into different pockets, picking up the ball and linking up play. And the advanced sword, he does remain unchanged because I still want a bagsman. I will say all this tactic testing was done without Victor Osimhen as well, so you can only imagine what would happen if we had him. Now going over to the actual team instructions, the mentality is going to drop down to balance, so it is going to go down by 1. The attack and width therefore is going to be set to standard, and we are going to change it quite a fair bit. So now we're going to play out from the back. We're going to go with shorter. The tempo, that's going to remain in the middle. If you've got my set pieces, play for set pieces. If you're using this to run the clock down in a game, then I would also introduce a lot of time wasting. If you're going into a game with this tactic as a small team, you would not want to time waste from minute 1. In transition, we're going to counter press. We're going to hold the shape when possession has been won. So this is where this tactic goes from being quite a lethal counter-attack inside to a bit more possession and more sort of control focused. We're going to slow the pace down. Again, a time waster method. If you're going into a season, you wouldn't have to have this on necessarily. And we're going to place it anyone across the back line, again, with that very low risk roll it out method. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to deploy the high pressing line of engagement with that standard line and simply opt for more often when it comes to that trigger press. And that's going to give you boys and girls back home not 1, not 2, but 3 versions of Buruk's 4-2-3-1. You've got everything covered. A default tactic for your sort of top 4 teams. You've got an attacking tactic for your sort of powerhouses / when you're trying to get a goal in the game. And you've got your defensive tactic for weak teams and to defend a game out with. If you have enjoyed back home, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe. Comment below 2 tactics you want to see for either the rest of this FM or going into FM25. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day.